Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Force here, and today we'll be talking about the Elder Scrolls Online. Specifically, we're going to focus on character progression, or building the character that you want, playing how you want to play. This is all coming off the heels of a video recently released on this topic. I'd like to recap that video, go a little more in depth as to how the system works, and then also wrap up with some discussion. I want to get your opinions as to how you think this system is, if you like it, if you hate it, whatever. Now quick disclaimer, anything that I do talking about the game itself and my experience is all coming from prior conventions and events, nothing from the beta, because the beta is under NDA and I can't talk about it. So now with that out of the way, let's jump right into discussion of character progression in the Elder Scrolls Online. So you want to be a unique snowflake. You want to build a character just the way you envision and be different from anyone else using skill combinations that no one else is using. Well, if that's the case, there's a good chance you're doing it wrong, but if that's your decision, then you can do it that way. So how are you going to be able to customize your character in ESO? Well, there's a couple different ways. Starting off with the most basic, this is an RPG and there's a level up system. So now what's going to happen is when you level up, you'll be awarded an attribute point and a skill point. Now the attribute points will allow you to invest in either increasing health, magicka, or stamina, making you more tanky, giving you a bit bigger magicka pool, or giving you more stamina with which to sprint and block and do heavy attacks, things of that nature. Skill points are invested in skill lines. Now, besides leveling up, you can also get skill points by collecting sky shards, which is a system that sort of incentivizes exploring the game, also through certain quests. But once you get a skill point, either through leveling up, sky shards, or quests, you then decide where you want to invest it in your different skill lines. Now, there are a wide variety of generic skill lines, but then there are also specific skill lines that are going to be determined by the class and race that you pick. So each of the different classes in the game, the Templar, the Dragon Knight, the Sorcerer, and the Nightblade, have 3 class-specific skill lines. And just as a general example, in the past I played as a Dragon Knight, and it seemed more or less like there was a DPS skill line, a crowd control and group focus skill line, and a tanky skill line. Being very generalizing here, but from what I could tell, the class-specific skill lines are all meant to tailor to a specific role. Now, beyond that, there's also the race-specific skill lines. So whether you're playing an Argonian, a Khajiit, or a Nord, you will have a skill line tailored just for that race. And then there are also a huge amount of generic skill lines. We're talking about the weapons, whether it's a one-handed sword and shield, or a two-handed weapon, or a staff, or dual wielding, and then also the armors with light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor. There's the different guilds like the Mages Guild and the Warriors Guild. There's also PvP and things like vampires and werewolves. Tons and tons of different skill lines giving you access to hundreds of different skills. But at any given moment, you can only have 5 active skills plus an ultimate, and then there's a weapon swapping mechanic which will give you a different set of 5 skills and an ultimate that you can have at any given time. So hundreds of different skills from a variety of skill lines that most people have access to, a majority of them besides the class and race specific ones, but only a small set of active skills at any given time. Now there's also a passive skill system, but those don't go on your hotbar, and those are things that you're just going to innately have. So a lot of different options, lots of different combinations. My one concern with this system, though, is that with everybody having access to a vast majority of the skill lines, and as a result a vast majority of the skills, it means that I feel like there might be a good chance that there's 2 or 3 builds and certain skill lines that everyone's going to want to have to use with certain skills that are necessary in situations, whether it be PvP or PvE. And we're going to deal with a lot of homogenization, a lot of basically characters that look the same. Even though there's so many things to choose from, is there going to be a best for certain situations? It's definitely way too early to tell. I'm not going to come down too harsh on the system as of yet, because until this game gets in the hands of everybody and NDA is lifted and people are experiencing the end game for months at a time, you can't sort of make balanced judgments. But that's just, it's an initial worry at the onset. Now, beyond actually picking your skills, there's a further level of customization which comes through morphing. Now, I'll talk about this system briefly. So you get your skill point, you spend it in a certain skill line, and as you use that skill, what's going to happen is the skill itself levels up. They will eventually get to a level in which morphing is an option. And an example of a morphing ability is the Templars got this ability called Rushed Ceremony, which will heal a nearby ally. Once it becomes available for morphing, you get to then choose if you want to train can change it to Breath of Life, which will heal 3 allies instead of 1, or change it to Honor the Dead, which will restore magicka upon use. So as a quick recap, character customization in the Elder Scrolls Online comes through leveling up, getting attribute points, increasing health, magic, or stamina, and then getting skill points through leveling up, sky shards, or quests, and using those skill points in certain skills, be it active or passive, in the various skill lines. You've got your class-specific, race-specific, and then all of the generic ones. So again, lots of different options, hundreds of different skills. You pick 5 plus an ultimate, then the weapon swap 5 plus an ultimate, and that is going to determine the character that you have. Now, what about this system? How do you guys feel about it? Do you think it's going to work out well? I do have that concern. I definitely have that concern that with everyone having access to a vast majority of the skills, there will be certain skills that just everyone has to have in PvP, or everyone has to have in PvE. Although that may not be the case, and again, that's something we won't be able to tell probably until after the game's launch, it's an initial worry of mine. Another concern is with these classes, while you can definitely argue, oh, there's so many skills to pick from, the class doesn't really matter. How are those abilities in comparison when it comes to their strength, you know? Are the class-specific skills for the Dragon Knight being tanky gonna be a lot better than a sorcerer who tries wearing heavy armor and a sword and a shield and try to be tanky as well? Probably yeah, but we don't know. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the class system, but I definitely understand how people want this open-endedness, and I worry for those people that with the existence of class and those class lines, just some classes will be better at certain roles, without a doubt. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work. I'm okay with it, but I understand how that could frustrate some people. So that's pretty much gonna do it, guys. I wanted to, once again, just touch on character progression in this game, give you a little bit of a recap, and then also get your impressions on the system and what you think about how it's being handled in the Elder Scrolls Online. So please let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and stay tuned for more Elder Scrolls Online coverage. Again, really pretty much at this point, I'm gonna randomly touch on big news and happenings once they come up, like this video, and then we're just waiting for the NDA to lift until we can actually cover the game. But this is just where we are at the moment. Thanks so much for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.